You know, I've not even bothered to wear the sunglasses today. Nor have I bothered to say hello there. You know, just the other day I went to see Extreme Robots. It was a lot of fun. It was entertaining. A lot of action. Sure, there was one fight which was a little bit boring because none of the robots worked. I don't know why I'm even talking about that in particular. Other than, it's better than Child's Play 3, which is quite the opposite. I'm not looking forward to this. You know, I wasted $5.99 on the actual DVD for this review to watch it, and yeah, I'm just not looking forward to it. Not at all.
Now, before we begin, I just want to show you the back cover of the DVD. Because even though the camera might not be picking up brilliantly, I'd just like to point out how blurry these images are. All of them. Absolutely blurry. This is a professional DVD, and yet it's blurry as fuck. And what's really ironic about it is this image of Chucky right here, is in better quality on the disc than it is on the back. We're in for a ride, people.
Fucking Child's Play 3. Ugh. I hate this film. I'm just gonna say it right now. I just don't like this film whatsoever. The story revolves around Andy, who is now grown up as a teenage boy. He is now in a military school because, well, when you're involved with a string of murders, of course you're going into a military school. By the way, fun fact, this military school idea was actually introduced by Don Mancini himself. He wanted Chucky to be around a military base or something to do with the military as an idea because he thought it was fun. It didn't work out, let's just say. Chucky, meanwhile, has been resurrected because the toy company who owns the Good Guys dolls think that a string of murders involving their toys isn't much of a big deal, so we might as well just recreate the Chucky dolls and, well, the Good Guy dolls, I should say, and go ahead and remarket them for the 90s. Yes, this is actually set in the future, slightly. When I mean by future, I mean by a few years. Despite the fact that this film was literally filmed back to back with Child's Play 2, released a year after, in quite quick succession, because the studio really wanted this franchise to thrive almost immediately. Hence why it's so rushed. It's pretty bad, isn't it? When all the warning signs are there. Really bad. Back to the plot meanwhile. Chucky, of course, being resurrected, he decides to track down Andy. Tracking down Andy, he goes to the military school where he encounters upon a really annoying child. This child is known simply as Tyler, before he urinates on girlfriends. By the way, look it up, the actor genuinely did that. I don't know why I said that, I'm just trying to distract myself from this movie. I really am. So, Tyler, of course, thinks Chucky is a good guy, because after all, he's called a good guy. And he discovered the good guy thanks to a TV commercial, which was on while Andy was getting his haircut by some very unusual hairdresser. Like, very unusual. Almost creepily unusual. I mean, you know, fuck it. This movie is just insane. And that's saying a lot. So, Chucky decides to go on a killing spree so he can transfer his soul into Tyler. Andy, of course, finds out and tries to stop Chucky. Meanwhile, he gets a girlfriend and befriends a nerdy kid. I could tell you their names, but if I'm honest, I don't really care much for these characters. There's even this bully character who bullies Andy throughout the entire movie. And can I just say, I don't remember their names. Simple as that. Except for nerdy guy, girlfriend, and bully. Even the black kid, Tyler, I completely forgot about, but for this review I had to go and search it up beforehand. Do you see the fucking problems? I'm reading on a script, and that was how I remembered Tyler's name, because I looked it up and wrote it down. This is just mad, man. This is just mad. So, back from the brink of insanity, he tries to show that Chucky is real, despite in the previous films when he tried doing that, it didn't work out, so why the fuck would it work out now? Just saying. So Andy tries to show that Chucky is real, but is punished and ends up punishing the entire crew. They then decide to have a war game after the general, whatever the fuck he was. The old guy has a heart attack. He doesn't even get killed by Chucky, he just has a heart attack after seeing him. Ugh. So after the war games, Chucky decides it would be a good idea to swap out these guns which are specifically made so they don't harm people, may I say. And he swaps the fake bullets with real ones, despite being technically impossible when it comes to these prop guns, these fake guns used in military schools. Impossible, but fuck it. It just happens. It just fucking happens. Oh, this movie. He swaps all those bullets. Chucky goes on a rampage. When I mean rampage, I mean we just watch the kids screw about for a bit, and Chucky's just being a dick and just doing nothing. Yeah, a lot of this is Chucky doing nothing and then getting in a pissy mood because nothing is happening. It's sort of like how the audience is watching this movie. They get in a pissy mood because nothing is fucking happening. But I digress. I digress hard. That doesn't even make any fucking sense, but you know, this movie doesn't make any fucking sense. So, good old Chucky decides he will kidnap Andy's girlfriend because Andy has decided to wander off and go to the opposite team during this war game, remind you, and tries to convince Tyler that Chucky is bad. Tyler, of course, being the annoying shit that he is, constantly, and I mean constantly, despite all the evidence being there, despite even seeing Chucky, even despite the fact that Chucky swears in front of him, acts quite nasty and creepy around him, he still thinks Chucky's a good guy. And so, he convinces Tyler to join with him so that he can defeat Chucky once and for all. But Chucky has, as we know, kidnapped Andy's girlfriend. Andy goes to rescue him. The bully gets killed because the bullets, the live bullets, which is physically impossible, may I remind you. Fuck. So the nerdy kid also gets the axe by being blown to pieces by a grenade that Chucky throws. Once again, where the fuck did this live grenade come from? This is meant to be a school, a military school. I'm fairly sure they didn't give these kids live weaponry. As I said before, the war games, they don't use real fucking guns. They don't, so real bullets wouldn't go in. I'm thinking too much about this. Considering the next couple of Chucky films are comedies, I'm thinking way too hard about this. Back to the movie. So Chucky decides it would be a good idea to run away with Tyler to an amusement park. So remember when I was complaining, and well, still complaining about the logic in this film? Now imagine an amusement park which has deadly props. Not like props which would be safe for individuals, people around. Oh no. Props which are deadly, that can cut faces off, as we see with poor old Chucky. Andy, his girlfriend, and Tyler for that matter, despite Tyler being a useless cunt, managed to defeat Chucky by chucking him to what is essentially a blender. well, is a fan, but it's basically a blender in this fucking film. Might as well be a blender. And so Chucky is cut to pieces and ribbons, and it's the end of Chucky once and for all. Andy is arrested because killer doll, and military school, you know, he can't be given any credit, this poor boy. And so, Child Play 3 ends, leaving behind a legacy which is quite interesting, and I will actually talk about at the end of this video. So, what's to talk about first? Well, what's wrong with it first? So for one thing, Chucky and Andy are the only characters I actually care for in this movie. They're the only ones which I actually like, they're the only ones that have any purpose in this movie. But even then, Andy seems to not have learned his lessons from the previous films. Chucky, on the other hand, the only thing good about him is the quotes he says, and the kills. I will say this, the kills in this film are pretty impressive. But aside from that, the two seem to be illogical. They seem to be downgraded from the previous films. What happened, man? What happened? And speaking of characters, I really didn't give two shits about the nerdy kid. I know a lot of people say, oh, his death is so tragic, he was such a relatable character. I didn't really give two shits about him at all. There's this whole segue where he's basically stuttering and scared because he saw Chucky slit the throat of the hairdresser. And instead of actually saying to Andy, oh, I saw Chucky, instead he acts so reluctant about it. And so when he gets blown up, who the fuck really cares? He's just a stereotypical nerdy character. You know, it's not like he's unique in any way, except that he dies, which, to be fair, is sort of tragic. But then there's Andy's girlfriend, who literally becomes his girlfriend because film dictates it. That's about it. Literally, she has like a few scenes beforehand where Andy and her look at each other. They don't really exchange much dialogue whatsoever. She goes around searching through his files and his history. She even decorates Chucky at one point. Yeah, really funny guys. But aside from that, what chemistry was there? I didn't notice much chemistry between the two. Sure, she's a great actress and all, but when you get down to it, was it really that great, that chemistry? Was it? I beg of you, Chucky fans, I beg of you, please tell me if there was any chemistry there, except for that one kiss. Please. So then we go on to Tyler. Lovely, lovely Tyler. I cannot stand this kid whatsoever. He's one of the most annoying characters in the Chucky franchise, next to Glenn, who we'll come to next, well, not next time, but later. Sort of next time. You know. But I digress. Tyler, he's just an annoying little shit. Every time he's convinced, and even shown, that Chucky is bad, even when he's with Chucky on his own, for whatever reason, he still thinks Chucky is a good guy. And his stupidity is incredible. Even Andy in the first film wasn't this stupid, and Andy was, I'm fairly sure, was played by a younger actor. By the way, on a side note, they replaced actors because it's filmed side by side with Child's Play 2. You get the fucking picture. It was rushed. They couldn't be bothered to wait. But Tyler, at the end of the day, he's just so obnoxious. And a lot of people say, oh, but Alice, she was naive to the whole situation. Yes, Alice was naive to the situation, but then again, she was locked away in a room. She never heard or saw any of the events that happened in Curse of Chucky. Simple as that. In the asylum, half the people are fucking nuts, so they won't care. Or at least, they'll think it's someone else. Blah, 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 blah. And, as I reiterate, Andy was also aware of Chucky. As soon as he noticed Chucky was being bad, he stopped playing with him. He was scared of him. Tyler, on the other hand, knowing him, Chucky mowed down half of these kids with a fucking machine gun, and he would probably still think that Chucky is a good guy. Because Chucky is a good guy. I cannot stand Tyler. He is probably the most obnoxious character in Child's Play history. Speaking of more obnoxious characters, there's the bully character, the stereotypical bully character, the guy that everyone's gonna hate, and of course when he dies no one gives a shit. Let's be honest now, who really gave a shit when he got shot? Oh, and talking about dumbass characters, why don't we talk about every fucking character in this fucking film? All the minor, all the support characters, all the major characters. It seems like everyone is so fucking stupid. Like, I may criticize Chucky for not going in for the kill and transferring his soul then and there, but then again, seeing half of these cadets, what the fuck? Like, he can transfer his soul with any of these cunts. Really. Is that simple? They probably wouldn't even notice he was alive. In fact, there's one scene after the bully gets shot and killed. They're all on top of this hill. They're all looking down, and they can clearly see Chucky is talking, moving, holding Andy's girlfriend hostage, and shouting out loud. Even if they didn't see him, they can hear him, and yet they blame Andy for the fucking murder. Oh. Fuck this film, fuck this film. Even the music this time around isn't as good as the previous two films. It's this weird sort of techno music. I mean, I don't really care for it at all, whatsoever. The opening of this film is alright, but you can clearly tell they reversed it as opposed to just doing it in stop motion or something similar. That's just a nitpick, but fuck me, the plot is stupid. The characters are moronic. The music isn't even that great this time around. And then let's get on to the controversy, shall we? I'm sure you would love to. You see, Child's Play 3 actually resulted in a ban in my country. And the reason why is because of two grisly murders. One is perhaps more famous than the other, but they're both pretty fucked up. One involves two young boys who decided to kidnap a infant child and bludgeon him to death on the railroad. They had recently witnessed Child's Play 3 after renting the film, and of course that called for a ban for the film. But not only that, there was also a young teenage girl who was kidnapped by this sadistic family who ended up being tortured physically, mentally, verbally, and psychologically. You see, she actually had a fear of Chucky. And one of the tortures videos that they made of them torturing this poor girl, they played High on Chucky Wanna Play over and over again while she was screaming. They pulled out her nails, they skinned her slightly, they cut her, they did horrific things to this poor girl. And then when they were done and dusted with her, they decided to set fire to her on the edge of a motorway. However, after being set alight, she managed to crawl towards the road where someone managed to see her. And before she died in hospital, because let's be honest now, who would survive such horrific attacks like that, she ended up revealing the identity of this family. Of course, that's how they got the tapes, and that's how they saw the High on Chucky Wanna Play played over and over again. As a result, Child's Play 3 actually resulted in a ban of the Chucky films outright. It was so controversial that no one wanted to watch the film. So in this country, my country, it was banned outright and it was given negative reviews because of the controversies. However, elsewhere it was given negative reviews because the shitty story, the shitty characters, and even the editing. I don't know why people didn't like the editing. I mean, it was just the same as the other Chucky films. I mean, the only editing I thought was iffy, as I said earlier, was the introduction where they reversed it. I thought that was a little bit iffy, but that's about it. But yeah, Child's Play 3 resulted in a huge flop all around, whether it was the controversy or, of course, the bad reputation it got in America and elsewhere, the negative reviews, and whatnot. As a result, Chucky entered what I'd like to call the first great Chucky crash of the franchise. it essentially killed off the Chucky series for a while. No one wanted Chucky around because Child's Play 3 was such an abomination that who really wanted to see Chucky again? This of course meant that Don Mancini had to think slightly differently, and as a result he created comedy films, comedy horror films to be exact. This is why Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky existed. Not because they decided, oh well, people think Chucky is goofy now. No, because of how controversial Chucky was. People were outraged by Chucky, and so to sort of ease the pain of it, they decided to turn Chucky into a slightly more goofier character in the comedy films, which we will get onto later. And so it comes to this. My rating for Child's Play 3. What do I give it? It doesn't deserve a fucking high rating, it doesn't even deserve a mediocre rating. I will only give it 9%. The only two good things about this movie, well, three good things, is Chucky, he is cool. Andy, even if he was a little bit dumb this time around, he is a good character. And finally, the kills. As bad as the movie is, the kills are pretty good. So, I'll see you next time where I tackle the first of the comedy films, Bride of Chucky. And if it's already a spoiler, it's not as bad as Child's Play 3 whatsoever. And after all, because of Bride of Chucky, Chucky was able to be resurrected once more.